Calling All Authors, the Your Book, Your Voice podcast, hosted by Robert A. Lane, is on the air, featuring everything you need to know about narrating your own audiobook. But it doesn't stop there. From special guests, including authors and professionals from the book industry, to sharing tools and techniques needed to be a confident and compelling narrator. The journey starts now. So please welcome your host, Robert A. Lane.
And I am glad you're here joining us for the Your Book, Your Voice podcast. I am Robert A. Lane. I'm an audiobook coach and producer specializing in helping authors turn your book into an audiobook. It's a great thing. It really is a great thing, especially for nonfiction authors. By the way, I'm a big advocate that all nonfiction authors need to narrate their own audiobook. Absolutely. Even fiction authors, you can narrate your own audiobook. I'm currently working on a great book right now. It is a fiction book. It's a really cool story, and the author is narrating it. And I know some people think, fiction, you got to have a voiceover person, you got to have all these dialects and characters and this and that and the other. And I guess it depends on the story that you've written, but in this case at least, or maybe in the case of the book that you have written as a fiction author, you're telling a story, and what is most important in that story is context. What is the, what's the content that you're sharing? And it is in context of the story. So the characters that are in your story, you can still tell your story, and the listener is going to understand it. They're going to get it. They're going to grasp it, and they're going to love it. So if you are a fiction writer, don't think that you can't narrate your own audiobook, because you can. All right, you can. Today's topic on the Your Book, Your Voice podcast is audiobook confidence. Audiobook confidence. There's two main points that I want to talk about on today's episode. But again, confidence being the umbrella that covers both points that I'm going to bring up is really key. Confidence is key. Believing in yourself is key. Loving your voice is key. And that's the first thing, is you have to love and appreciate this wonderful sound that comes out of your body, because that's part of who you are. I've made this definition before about your author brand. Like, what is your author brand? How do you define your author brand? Defining your author brand is really simple, and it's this. Everything about you, everything that encompasses who you are, that's your author brand. Everything. How you were brought up, your belief systems, your habits, your morals, your values, your personality, your sense of humor, and especially your voice. That is what makes your author brand. And that's what makes you unique. And that is what allows you to stand out in a crowd. Because there's no one else on this planet that is you. No one can replicate you. They can try to copy you, but they're not going to be able to replicate you, okay? That's why your voice is so important. That's why you need to narrate your audiobook in your own voice. And that's why you need to have the confidence to be able to do it, because honestly, you do have all the tools that it takes to do a great narration. You don't have to be a professional speaker. Of course, that helps, obviously, but you don't have to be a professional speaker to do a great audiobook narration. You don't. Okay, you are good enough, and you must have the confidence to believe in yourself that you are good enough. That's what audiobook confidence is all about. Now, the first aspect that I do want to talk about in regard to confidence is, as I say, believing in yourself. But again, it doesn't matter what you think, how other people think how you sound, right? In other words, who cares what other people think? Right? Now, I have a catchphrase that I use, and that is part of it. Who cares what other people think? But I follow that up with this. I am who I am. I do what I do, and I am not ashamed of it. Think about that. I am who I am. I do what I do, and I am not ashamed of it. What does that do? By saying that builds confidence. And that's what I've used so many times, to build confidence in myself and not worrying what other people think. Now, when you say, I don't care what other people think. You don't say it in a mean or vindictive way. You say it in a positive way. Or, it's actually, you're stating fact. It's a matter of fact. You're stating a fact. I don't care what other people think because I am who I am. I do what I do, and I am not ashamed of it. That's confidence. That's building confidence. There's a story in the book that I'd written back in 2022. I wrote a book called Lights Action You. This is when I was really focused on doing career coaching and life coaching. So there's a lot of tools and techniques about that in this book. But I also share stories in this book, Lights Action You, about my 30 plus years working in the entertainment industry. All sorts of different kind of stories. But with each story, I tie a tool or technique or a life lesson or something that the reader can pull out of it and take with them as something valuable. And one of the chapters that I did write about was about, what's the chapter called? It's called Double Bag It is the name of the chapter. And it is where I use that catchphrase. I am who I am, I do what I do, and I am not ashamed of it. So the story that I tell in the book basically is when I was working at 20th Century Fox in Los Angeles on the studio lot. And on the lot, there was a gym. And I'd go to the gym, like 3 times a week, maybe 4 times a week, depending. And I would walk from where my building was at one end of the studio lot, because the gym was on the other end of the studio lot. And it'd take me about 10 minutes to walk across the studio lot to get to the gym. Now, it was cool that they had a gym on the lot. Very cool, very convenient. But my gym bag was a double-bagged brown paper bag. That was my gym bag. I loved my gym bag. It was a great gym bag. I had everything organized in a certain way. The way it was stacked inside that bag made a lot of sense to me. It didn't make sense for me to spend all this money on some fancy gym bag that's going to get all dirty and stinky, and that plastic, you can't get that smell out of it after you use it for, a little while. So the brown paper bag was a great gym bag. But here's the thing. Now I'm walking across the studio lot with carrying this, double bagged brown paper bag as my gym bag. A lot of people, I would think, again, because I was concerned about what other people think. They probably think, oh, get a real gym bag. And the other thing was this: my coworkers would tease me. You know what? Why don't you get a real gym bag? So I was self-conscious about that, and that lowered my confidence. And as I walked across the studio lot carrying this double-bagged brown paper bag as my gym bag, I'd feel so self-conscious about it. But then I would stop myself and I would say this again. I don't care what other people think. Remember, you're stating it as a fact. I don't care what other people think. Because I do what I do. Or I should say, I am who I am. That's how it starts. I do what I do, and I'm not ashamed of it. And just saying that gave me that little jolt of confidence to walk across the studio lot, go into the locker room, and even people in the locker room would kind of tease me about my gym bag. But you know what? Here's the beauty about this story, the beauty about being confident in yourself. And that's this. As time went on, my coworkers would bring me brown paper bags and say, hey, I got you another gym bag. Ha ha. And I'd be like, hey, that's awesome. And so I'd get these free gym bags. And the beauty about having a double bagged brown paper bag as a gym bag is that when it gets all worn out, you just throw it in recycling. Grab a couple other bags, you're good to go. You're not spending another $100 for some fancy gym bag, right? And then you're going to have to end up throwing that out anyway. So there you go. It was great. As a matter of fact, people at the gym were like, that's a pretty cool idea you're doing there, bringing that gym bag. So yeah, that's the story. But the point, of course, is confidence. And the same thing applies when you're narrating your audiobook. Who cares what other people think? Because honestly, it is the content. Content is king. What you have to say, the story that you're telling, that's what's important. Now, you're saying it in your own voice. Now, not only is it just your voice, how you sound, but it's the emotion behind it. And that is the secret sauce to doing a great audiobook. The energy, the emotion, the sincerity, the authenticity. That's what makes a great audiobook. It's not just you're just reading because you don't want it to sound ready, but you're being conversational and putting your unique style, your unique pacing, your unique voice on top of that is what makes you stand out in the crowd. And that is a great thing. And you should be confident in your voice. And again, it doesn't matter what other people think of your voice. I mean, what if Fran Drescher, who narrated an audiobook, or Bob Dylan narrated an audiobook, or Marge Simpson narrated an audiobook, right? Because what it really comes down to is that it's the voice. It's the voice that's telling the story. But ultimately, it's the content that people are engaging with. It's not just only how you sound, it's what you have to say. That's the important part. Okay? So who cares what other people think? And remember that catchphrase, I am who I am, I do what I do, and I am not ashamed of it. And if you want to read about it, you can grab my book, Lights, Action, You, which is on Amazon. You can get the paperback, the ebook, and the audiobook. Pick it up. I'd love to have you have it. All right, so that is one aspect of confidence, audiobook confidence, is that don't worry about what other people think. Because you have a great story to tell, and that's what's most important. And you're putting your unique stamp on it. That's what allows you to stand out in the crowd. I can't tell you how important that is for you to be able to stand out and tell your story the way it is meant to be heard, the way you want it to be heard. That's the thing about, you can get a narrator. Of course, there's great narrators out there who are professionals, but you know what's missing? The disconnect is this. They did not live your experience. You did. So there are aspects of how they are interpreting your book and doing the narration. They're telling your story, but from their perspective, not from yours. And there's so many times where I've heard authors go, I had a narrator do my audiobook. I mean, they did a great job, but you know what? There are certain things that they express. It's like, I wouldn't say it that way. I wouldn't express it that way. I wouldn't put that kind of energy into it, or maybe it was lack of energy into their narration. I wouldn't have said it that way. That's why you narrate your own book, because you lived it, you breathed it, you experienced it. Then you wrote it down, you put it down in written form. And when you did that, your voice is in your written word. So all you're doing is taking it to the next level by having you narrate your own audiobook and telling your story the way it was meant to be heard. That's the key, and that's what's so important and why you do need to narrate your own audiobook. Now, the second part that I want to talk about in regards to confidence is, again, believing in yourself. I know I talked about already as we opened up this podcast today about confidence and about believing in yourself and loving your voice. But what I find with some authors that I've worked with who've gone through my audiobook coaching program, by the way, I do have an audiobook coaching program that you can definitely check out at robertlanecoaching.com by all means. Oh, and there is links here in the description. Check it out. There's links to the VIP program that I teach. There's a do-it-yourself audiobook coaching program. There's a free audiobook narration reference guide that I want you to grab as my gift to you, and other things as well. So check it out. But anyway, the point that I want to make in regards to you believing in yourself and the confidence that you have in yourself is, don't question yourself. Perfection can be a very bad thing if it is a barrier that is stopping you from moving forward in doing your audiobook. Maybe you're thinking that you don't have what it takes because you feel like it has to be perfect, and you question yourself, and then you end up not doing your audiobook. And that's a huge mistake, because from a business standpoint, because as a published author, you are an entrepreneur, you are a business, you are an author brand. Your product is your ebook, your paperback, your hardcover, and your audiobook, right? You've got to have that audiobook as part of the arsenal of great products that you offer to your fans, to your listeners, of course, audiobook, and your readers. It's important to have that audiobook because you're hitting a market of people that go to audiobooks first before they go to any other format. And if they don't know who you are, they're not going to find you. And that is such a huge growing market, continually growing and expanding over the last, several years at least. The audiobook world has been growing and expanding, and you really need to be part of that. So that's another reason why you need to narrate your audiobook and have an audiobook out there. But the thing is, have confidence in yourself, believe in yourself, and don't question yourself and don't think you need perfection. Because those little slight imperfections of how you narrate, that's part of who you are. Remember, everything about you, everything that encompasses who you are is your author brand. Well, that's part of it. Those little imperfections, so what? That's part of who you are. All right. Now, of course, if you work with me, for example, in the Your Book, Your Voice audiobook coaching program as your coach and as your editor, and the person who will, your support system, your accountability partner, everything that I can be for you. I do edit your audiobook and make sure that everything sounds great and it's clean and it meets the exact specifications for publication, and you will sound great. You will sound great. After I get through with you, you're going to sound fantastic. But the thing is, don't question yourself. One of the examples that I say is, don't be a George Lucas. Right? You don't have to change Star Wars a million times because you feel I need to add this special effect, or I need to do that, or I need to do this. And no, leave it alone. The original Star Wars, when it came out back in 77, right? 77, I think it came out. It was cool. It was great. There were imperfections about it, but you know what? If it was a bad movie, guess what? It would have never reached the popularity that it did when it came out back then. So what? So there's some imperfections in it. Big deal. So you don't have to have this giant ring, it's a special effect, visual effect, when the Death Star blows up. Didn't need that. You got the point across from the original movie. Same thing with your audiobook, all right? You don't need to go back and change it and, change it again and change it again and change it again, because the point is, you're doing the best that you possibly can at that time that you're recording your audiobook. I mean, I look back at the audiobook that I did for my book, Lights, Action, You, and I think, I could have done this better or that better or whatever. But you know what? It's like, I did the best that I can do at that time, and it works and it's fine, and people are enjoying it. Same thing with musicians. As a musician, I'm recording my third album now, and I can go back and listen to the other two albums I released and be like, man, I wish I played that guitar riff different, or did this keyboard part, or whatever, change that, or this and that and the other. But you know what? Again, I did the best that I can do at that time when I was recording that album. Just like when you're recording your audiobook, you're doing the best that you can at the time that you're doing it, and it's still going to be great. So have that confidence. Going in there with confidence is going to make all the difference in the world, because when you go and you do your audiobook and you're feeling confident with yourself, you get into your zone. And when you hit that zone, man, you are conversational, you are authentic, you are sincere, and you will do a compelling and engaging audiobook that will keep that listener on the edge of their seat from opening credits to closing credits, because you believe in yourself. And if you believe in yourself, the listener is going to believe in you. It's full circle. So have that audiobook confidence. Have that confidence, because you do have what it takes to do a great audiobook narration. You really do. You have all the tools that you need. And like I say, you don't have to be a professional speaker to do a great audiobook. Whether you're a nonfiction author, as I say, all nonfiction authors need to narrate your audiobook because it's your story. You lived it. No one can tell that story better than you. Again, for fiction authors, if your story is maybe it's a drama, or it could be a fantasy or whatever, and you just have a handful of characters, you don't have to do voices for every single character. You can tell your story. And as I mentioned earlier, the book I'm working on now, a fiction book I'm working on, The author's doing a great job telling the story, and I'm thoroughly enjoying working on it and hearing her tell this great fiction story. And there's characters in there, but you know what? It's great. And she's doing a fabulous job, and so can you. So believe in yourself. Have that confidence. Love your voice. Appreciate this wonderful sound. That's all part of who you are. Trust me, I get it. I remember the first time I listened to my voice, from a recording, and I thought it was awful. And I know most people think that. I hear it all the time. When I get new authors who sign into the audiobook coaching program, oh man, they're like, I don't know if I have the voice to do it. And it's like, yeah, you do. And because your voice is unique, remember it's unique to you, and that's part of who you are, and that's part of what allows you to stand out. That voice is very important. So love it and embrace it and have confidence in it. So again, to wrap up, number one, believe in yourself, believe in your voice, of course. And don't worry about what other people think. No, they're not going to like my voice. Who says? That's all in your mind, okay? That's what you are thinking, what other people are like you're projecting your thoughts onto somebody else. And that's, I'm telling you, 9 out of 10 times, they're not even paying attention to how you sound. But I'll tell you what they are paying attention to is what you have to say. It's the content of the story that you're telling, whether it's a nonfiction memoir or a fiction story. They're enjoying what you have to say. So who cares what other people think? And remember that catchphrase. I am who I am. I do what I do. And I am not ashamed of it. It's that simple. All right. And again, the second part is, along with confidence, is don't think you have to go back and fix it again and fix it again and fix it again and be so perfect, and lose confidence in yourself, thinking, God, did I do that? Did I do that? Was it good enough? Was it good enough? Yes, it's good enough. It is good enough. And, the reason why I love doing what I do as an audiobook coach and producer is that as your support system, being there to help you through the process of creating an audiobook. And again, I will tell you if it's not sounding well. That sounds reedy. That sounds very monotone. You need to put more emotion in it. Let's talk about this. Let's go over this. Here are some tools and techniques to help you bring out your authenticity. That's my job as a coach, to help you go through that and be able to share and tell a fantastic story. And if you're not doing a great job, we work on that. That's what I do as a coach. But you know what? You do have all the tools and techniques that you need to do it, right? It starts with your voice. You have what it takes. So don't think you have to go back and change things and question yourself. Don't question yourself. You're doing a great job. This is why you hire an audiobook coach to help you, to make sure that you are on track. Someone who will be honest with you and tell you if you do need to redo something. I have no problem telling my clients that. Matter of fact, I have an author who says, hey, if I need to redo a chapter, just tell me. I'll be more than happy to redo it. And it's like, absolutely, because I want your audiobook to sound fantastic. I want it to be something great that people will listen to it and go, man, I want to hear that story again. And all of you have the capability to be able to do that. You all do. Absolutely. All right. If you want to find out more about what I do as an audiobook coach and producer, you can go to my website at robertlanecoaching.com. Again, I have a bunch of links here in the description. Check it out. And if you have any questions and you want to find out more about the Your Book, Your Voice audiobook coaching program, I got the VIP program, which is a 12-week program where you and I work together one-on-one through the entire process. I do all the editing for you. I do the uploading for publication into Audible, Amazon, Apple, and any other distribution platform that you want to be on. I provide you with the professional equipment that you need to set up your own recording space and teach you how to do that. Teach you the fine art of narration, how to be engaging and compelling and authentic, and all those things, all those intangibles that make a great audiobook. And of course, we talk about the technical aspects of doing a great audiobook as well. And then I share with you some marketing tools and techniques that can help you promote your audiobook and all the formats of your book for that matter. So book a call with me. I'd love to speak with you because when you do book a call, you're talking to me directly. I don't send you off to some, whatever person or team of people. I want to work with you because you and I are going to be working together. And if we have this business relationship, I want to make sure that, I resonate with you, you resonate with me. I want to hear more about your book. I want to hear about your marketing goals and strategies and what you want to do with your audiobook, because that's important as well. Where you want to be distributed, what's working for you, what's not working for you. It's a lot of aspects of that that come into play when it comes to recording and narrating your audiobook and putting it out there. A lot of different things you need to think about. But the bottom line is, when you enroll in the Your Book, Your Voice audiobook coaching program, my job is to do all the heavy lifting for you and just allow you to do a great narration. That's what it's all about. Okay? That's what it's all about. Doing a great narration. And my job is to take away all the overwhelm, the hassle, the confusion, the tech craziness, whatever it is. My job is to help you do a great narration and just focus on doing that. And I'll do all the editing and uploading and everything that you need. So book a call with me. Again, the link's in the description. And, by the way, if you are checking out the podcast on YouTube, subscribe. All right? Become a subscriber. Hit that notification bell as well. And I do appreciate you tuning in, whether you are seeing the podcast on the Robert Lane Coaching YouTube channel, or if you're listening to it on your favorite podcast platform. I do appreciate you. All right? Really do. So if there is a topic that you'd like me to discuss on the Your Book, Your Voice podcast, reach out to me. Robert@robertlanecoaching.com is the email address. Pretty simple. Or you can go to robertlanecoaching.com and shoot me a message on the contact form. Love to hear from you. And as we wrap things up here, again, my final assignment to you is this. When you're out and about in the world, smile at a stranger, all right? Say hello to them. Give them a compliment. Because that small gesture of kindness can make all the difference in the world, in somebody's life. Somebody could maybe just be having a bad day, or maybe they're really hurting inside. And that small act of kindness can make the world of difference in someone's life. So be a life changer. That's your assignment. All right. So join me again for the next episode of the Your Book, Your Voice podcast. We're here. We do this live, by the way, on Wednesday on the Robert Lane Coaching YouTube channel and on LinkedIn Live. But of course, you can hear the replays here on your favorite podcast platform as well. But I do appreciate you hanging out. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is the Your Book, Your Voice podcast. I'm Robert A. Lane. And again, you can go to robertlanecoaching.com to find out more about the Your Book, Your Voice audiobook coaching program. Have a great week, my friends.
This has been Your Book, Your Voice with host Robert A. Lane. Tune in each week for another powerful and informative episode. And remember, only you can narrate your story the way it's meant to be heard.